Okay, so hi, I'm Sarah O'Neill. This is my senior capstone proposal presentation. My topic is the mental health impact of social media on Generation Z, and my project title is 444 Happiness. So the overview of me is, like I said, I'm Sarah O'Neill. I'm a transfer student from LCC where I studied for 2 years. I received my associate's degree in liberal arts. I'm a proud graduate of Kamehameha Kapalama, class of 2021, and I'm currently a senior at UH West Oahu. I'm majoring in creative media with a concentration in design and media. So a little overview of what my presentation will be today. The first thing I'll be going over is my thesis statement. The second thing is my objective and rationale of the research conducted. My third thing is the plans for senior capstone project. And the fourth thing is I will address the significance of my proposed project with the research I've conducted. So the research conducted this semester in my pre-capstone class was the effects of social media, the effect social media has on Gen Z mental health. And so my thesis statement is frequent social media use negatively impacts the mental health of Generation Z by increasing feelings of anxiety, depression, social isolation, and low self-esteem, largely due to comparison culture, algorithmically driven validation, and exposure to unrealistic online ideals. So my objective and rationale for the research conducted. So my objective is I'm a part of Gen Z. I'm a frequent social media user and one whose mental health has been affected by social media, both positively and negatively. Social media is a part of my life and it's probably going to be a part of my planned future profession. I'm interested in this topic because social media is something I am passionate about when used properly, and mental health is very important to me. What motivates me the most is my personal connection to this topic. So the rationale for this is I mainly research the web, doing deep dives into everything. For future planned research, I will get into contact with therapists and my previous psychology kumu at LCC, alongside Gen Z social media users for interviews. Research I found shows to use social media in positive ways and also how spending less time on social media is something great to learn and apply. I also researched different social media campaigns recently to give me more inspo and to have more of a clearer picture into what I will be delivering. Lastly, I've observed and done research on social media users and content creators to see all the positives and negatives and to understand more of what I can be talking about in my different stories, posts, and reels in my deliverable. I've learned different ways people post content, but also how others limit certain things like comments and story replies. So my senior capstone plans is I plan to do a social media campaign. For my social media campaign, I plan to use Instagram. I plan to post at least 3 to 5 times a week, which our capstone semester is 15 weeks. And so examples of posts will be I will post, I'll have stories, and I'll have reels. And a possible plan is to also use Twitter, also known as X, to use cross promotion. So my significance, the first significance is digital era. We live in a world where technology is a part of our daily lives, especially social media for most. Social media is needed for jobs, classes, communication, building communities, and so much more. Especially for Gen Z, which is my main target audience, they grew up with social media. Social media is an important tool if you use it right in life, so it is of significance to express how to use it properly or suggest different ways to protect my audience's mental health. So for my second significance, it is more than just improving your mental health. Limiting social media use, staying away from negativity is more than just doing it to improve your mental health. It improves Gen Z and others' overall well-being. I'm a part of Gen Z, and mental health is really important to me. And if I can be an advocate and educate others for the better of Gen Z's mental health through proper social media usage, I will. So some data that I found in my research, and this is an example. So 48% of teens say social media harm people their age, and it was up 32% in 2022. So for example, on the right, it shows 48% says it's mostly negative, 41% says neither positive nor negative, and only 11% says it's mostly positive. Another data that I found was that Gen Z daily social media usage patterns. So as you can see all the way on the right, 35% of Gen Z uses social media more than 4 hours a day. And then you see 18% for 4 hours and so on. Another data I found in my research was social media regrets. American teenagers are heavily social media users, yet most see more negative than positive in the platforms, according to New Harris Poll research. So I found that 60% of Gen Z adults spend at least 4 hours a day on social media, 23% are online 7 or more hours a day, 60% say social media has a negative rather than a positive impact on society, and 52% say social media has benefited them, yet 29% did say it has hurt them personally, and 82% call social media use addicting. So my last data is how many Americans are trying to reduce or quit social media. So I found that 41% are reducing social media use in 2025. 1 in 4 use screen time blockers on their phones, and 16 quit at least one app so far this year. So my target audience, my main target audience is Gen Z, which is Generation Z, and currently they're ages 13 to 28. But also my target audience is those who struggle with their mental health and social media, and social media users more targeted to Instagram users. So my proposed solution is, after reviewing the statistics found and research I conducted, I'll be using my design and content creation skills to create thoughtful messages to get through the negativity of social media and promote and educate my audience with positive messages and awareness. So my solution will aim to inspire, educate, and influence Gen Z and others to live life more outside of the social media world and limit time on their phones to protect their overall mental health and well-being. So my preparation and my process. So my pre-production. So at UH West Oahu, I've taken many design classes and like Art 112 and Art 221, and also a social media class, CM 130. And then this semester I also took CM 320, which is online video. And all these classes have helped me prepare for this project and capstone. And this whole semester, I've done research in this pre-capstone project class. And so my production, so for my capstone, I'll be doing more research if needed for 1 to 2 weeks at the most, if needed. I will, like I said, contact therapists, professors, and more. I plan to content creation, plan it all out, and also have a schedule with all my posting. I plan to design my content and also make my content, like having like interviews or like taking photos, videos, all of the content. And then also the execution of posting my content weekly, which I plan to do at least 3 to 5 times a week. So lastly, for my post, production, I plan that this is all influencing and educating others. I plan to gain a following. I plan that I'll make a positive impact for Generation Z and those who come across my content. And I plan to help others who struggle with social media and their mental health. So for my deliverable, like I said, I'll be doing a social media campaign. I plan to use Instagram, but I also could possibly use Twitter. That's still up in the air as my cross promotion. But for Instagram, I plan to have posts, reels, and stories. So content styles and colors for my social media campaign. For the content style, I will prioritize authenticity, creativity, and relatability. For colors, I plan to use bright colors like red, orange, yellow, and pink. And I learned that that's proven to drive higher engagement, especially when used vibrantly. Other colors I would love to use is blue and green, which is mental health colors and also calm colors. So this is a little inspo for my deliverable social media campaign. So Jess Farnham, she's a content creator that I follow, and I love the organization of her content. It's very inspiring, and also the typography she uses, the color she uses, and like just the overall layout. And also We the Urban, that's a mental health account on Instagram, but I really love the way that they like say things, and they're very vulnerable and like they're very personable, and their layouts I also it's very inspiring and all the colors they use and also like the text and like the way that they say things on all of their posts. Mahalo nui loa for coming to my presentation, and I hope you all have a great day. And any questions?